Hi, Barry.
Hi, Jenny Marie.
What are we listening to?
The 49 SAF podcast Spotlight series.
What's that?
Well, in case you missed it last week, it is a spotlight series that highlights local entrepreneurs and all of the awesome stuff they're doing, talking about their failures, their successes, great stuff to eat at their store. You know, it's a great opportunity for everyone involved.
Okay, and who do we talk to this week?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Well, this week, Barry couldn't come, but I interviewed Nina from Kobuk, and Nina told us her story of how she and her family came to own Kobuk, and it's a family-run business. So if you want to hear about that, take a listen. It's a great episode.
It is. It was great to hear it.
Yeah, it was also very sad that Barry wasn't involved.
Yeah, everyone was really upset.
Everyone cried.
Everybody cried. Well, so if you're upset that I couldn't be in this episode, almost as upset as I am, please take our survey. You could include it there on the 49SAF survey. That would be at our website, 49saf.com. It's like the first thing you're going to see. It's super short. It's like a really great place to vent about your favorite podcast listeners or speakers.
I'm going to take it right now and protest the fact that you weren't in the interview.
Wow. Well, I was going to hope that that would be anonymous and we would have thought it was like a podcast listener, but it's fine. It's fine.
Please fill out the survey.
Thank
and
you.
Please enjoy this podcast. So first thing, if you could just introduce yourself, tell me the name of your business and who you are.
Okay. I am Nina Bonito Romine, and my sister and I co-own the Kobuk Coffee Company downtown.
Awesome. So I have been to Kobuk, and I think most people in Anchorage have. But for anybody that hasn't, it's quite an experience. So how would you describe your business?
We like to say it's an old-fashioned gift emporium. So it's in a historic building, been there since 1915, and we fill it with a little bit of everything. So if my sister and I go on a shopping, tour, we buy whatever we like, which gets a little problematic because I think we filled every nook and corner in the business. So it's a little crowded in there. You have to do a couple of laps around to see all the things we have. But we specialize in candies and gifts from around the world. My mom is German, and so we have lots and lots of German goodies at Christmas time in particular. And then we have lots of people that enjoy everything English, and so we have English bone china, we have English candies, and lots of things from Britain. And then we just, we have a ton of Alaskan-made gifts as well. So it's just a really packed, full gift emporium. And in the back, we have our cafe and bakery.
Awesome. Yeah, so you mentioned 1915 as a starting date, and I know that's the date that the building was made.
That's
is that
correct.
So tell me a little bit, 1915 to 2018 summary, like what happened in that span of time and how did you get to be in control?
Right, wow, a lot happened at that time. Because so Anchorage moved from Tent City to downtown, and Mr. Kimball built the Kimball Building in 1915, and his family moved in. They lived there. His daughter lived there till she passed away in 2002. And we had been renters of hers. We had a very tiny little shop, the Kobuk Coffee Company, that her friend Patsy James, pioneer Alaskan woman and miner, started. And so we purchased that business when Patsy James passed away, and we rented from Decima Andreessen. And then when Decima passed away, we bought the building from her son. And then we converted her living quarters in the back to our cafe and espresso bar. And the bedrooms upstairs, which I don't know how they manage, it's freezing up there. We hate going up there. That's our storage area. So it's a cool old building.
So I know your business is run family. It's you, your sister, and a brother.
My brother.
So what's it like working with your family, and how did you guys decide to go into that?
Well, it's a funny story. My sister and I, of course, when we were in high school, used to go shopping downtown. We had a little routine. We'd go to the downtown deli. We'd have a cream cheese bagel with strawberry preserves. We'd have constant comment tea. We'd go to the Kobuk. We'd buy a quarter pound of gummy bears. And then we'd go to the bookstore. The Book Cash used to be downtown. So we had this little routine. And then my sister started a little business in the airport. She had a cart where she sold frozen salmon fillets. And then she got a bid on a shop there and opened a store. And she came down to the Kobuk. She used to buy the tea there. And she said, I'd like to, if you ever want to sell the business, I'd be interested. Because she carried the same of our tea in the airport. And so we got a call, and then she said, hey, guess what? They're ready to sell, because Patsy James had passed away, and her son was a doctor. He had his own practice and wasn't really interested in running the store. So my brother and my sister and I bought the shop. And my brother ran the store when it was that little tiny area. And then when we purchased it, he is a cook baker by trade. He actually worked for Patsy James in her gold mine in Northwest Alaska in the late 70s, early 80s.
No way.
Which,
That's so
the way
crazy.
things turn around, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we bought the shop, he was chief baker and handled the back. My sister was the business brains for sure, and I was still teaching full time, so I would get to go on the buying trips. But when I retired from teaching in 2011, I was full time at the store because Deb, of course, was out of state in D.C. So we worked really well together. I mean, the typical tussles because my brother's the oldest, my sister's the youngest, I'm in the middle, and my mom and dad volunteered down there a lot until my dad passed away, and it's been really fun. I mean, we always joke around saying we're in business together and we still talk together. We still talk to each other. We still have dinner together,
Yeah.
So, and my brother just recently retired, so he's
wow.
out after 40 years of he's retired just this year. So that's been a
my
challenge.
gosh.
That'll be a challenge for us. But it's been really a lot of fun. And then we've had my sons have worked there on and off. My nephew was on the payroll during summer vacation. I mean, so it's pretty fun.
A lot of what we've talked about with other business owners and investors and all the folks we've had on this podcast is kind of a work-life balance is something that I'm interested in as a person just entering the work life. I have no idea what that looks like. Yeah. How do you manage that when your work life is also your family life?
Right. It is a challenge. That is certainly a dinner conversation between my husband and I because it takes a lot of work. Being in retail is a lot of work. I don't think people realize that, and especially if you're the owner. I mean, nobody's going to take care of business, on a day-to-day detail basis like you are, no matter how great your staff is, and we have a great staff. So it's a lot of time, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of 14-hour days. And managing that is, to be honest, it's a struggle. I mean, even though we've divided up, the duties fairly well, I feel it's just there's a lot that goes into managing and running a business, and so what we have settled upon is being committed to just being 110% during the tourist season and during Christmas. December, the holidays are actually our busiest season, so. That those months we just know we're going to be crazy busy, and then we take off. We do inventory in January for a 3-week period, and I'm gone that 3 weeks. So
Nice.
I've said, you know what, that's going to be my vacation time. So I leave a list of duties that have to be done. They perform just admirably. When I come back, the store's ready to walk into and open up. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So that has helped me immensely. And, being able to say no. I mean, there's so many opportunities and there's so many good ideas, and you want to be able to say yes to everything. And for a while, I did that, and it's exhausting. And so just being able to prioritize and say, okay, what's the return on investment going to be here? Because we're torn. Like, we really want to have, we want to give everybody, we'll buy some of that. We'll take 6 of those. We'll take 12 of those and give it a shot. Or we'll invite you to, use our space for this, that, or the other. And it gets overwhelming. So you just have to learn how to say no. And as painful as that is, that's helped a lot. Yeah.
That makes sense. So I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you've faced and what you've learned from them.
Yeah. Drunk driver came through, had a big old truck and just plowed all the way through the front window closest to E Street, 5th and E, the E Street window, and missed the corner of the building by 4 inches. I mean, the whole building could have come down. And the only thing stopping the truck's progress all the way back into the cafe and office was the wall that we had built,
wow.
and all the debris stacked up in front of it. He just came to a stop. I mean, it was it was horrible. You can imagine. We got the call at, I think, 2 or 3 in the morning, and my husband and my son and my father-in-law came down and rebuilt that window. It took them till about 7 the next night. Yeah.
Wow.
And just decimated all the inventory and all of our antiques that were original to the building. Oh, it was just really horrific.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was kind of, a disaster, but also a blessing in a way, because we had to come up with this, like our insurance company. They said, well, where's your point of sale system? We need proof of your inventory and your sales. And well, we didn't have one. I mean, we did everything by hand. And they said, well, we have, I said, but I can tell you, I mean, it's March. There's nothing happening January to May until the tourists come. And we did all this buying. I have all my invoices and what we paid out. And, we can tell you what we put in the bank every day, which was very little. And can we just, call, deduct that? And well, no, of course they wouldn't do that. So we invested in a point of sale system, which has helped us track sales enormously. I mean, instead of getting a gut feeling of, well, let's buy more of this next year, or we need, we ran out of that early, you can actually pull up all of your data. I mean, it's amazing what that little point of sale QuickBooks will do. So you can track your sales on every item. It'll tell you what's trending up or trending down. You can see how long it took to sell through an item. So, and how much budget, what income you've got versus your expenses. I mean, it's amazing. And so looking more closely at that and just trying to figure out, what works in this space. I mean, this is, you've got a product that's taking up however many square foot, and is it turning over enough? Is it paying for that, for that lease space, and for your mortgages, you can figure out what you're paying per square foot, and then are you getting the return on it? So that is really important to kind of keep track of that.
How do you see the business changing over time? You've had it for so long, and you have made these adjustments with QuickBooks and new kind of analysis coming in. How do you have like a big vision, or is Kobuk and it's the institution that it's going to be?
Yeah. That is a tough battle, because it has been there for more than 100 years, and it has served Alaskans for more than 100 years. And we have people coming in saying, I remember coming in here with my grandma, and here's my grandchild. I mean, it is so heartwarming. There are so many people who have stories. When that car came through our building, and we were, mopping and fixing up and throwing things out, we had so many people just stop and almost some of them were in tears. I mean, they were more upset than we were. You're not going to close, are you? This one, you're going to reopen. I mean, it was really, really something. But at the same time, trying to adjust and move forward. My sister and I are both in our 50s, and so it's really struggling with the whole social media thing and the digital world and the advertising in the new age. So that's a challenge for us that we're tackling, but willingly, and we know we're going to get it right. And we feel pretty much like we've got a unique shop, and that we probably aren't going to make too many changes in there. I mean, there could be changes in the back. We're applying for a wine and beer license.
Oh,
yeah, so
that's exciting.
It is really exciting, because my sister's a gourmet cook, and we are thinking of doing just small, because we don't have that much space, but although we do want to open up our patio in the back in the summer, but doing some small little things, tapas and wine, or some maybe pre-fixed dinners occasionally.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting. That's sort of on the, on the drawing board still. And the people are amazing. I mean, the Alaskans that come in, we have regulars, we have international tourists coming in the summertime. We have a gal who speaks Persian, or Arabic. I was a Spanish teacher. My sister still knows some German. We have a French speaker on board. I mean, it's just so exciting, And so we just sort of kind of sit around and think, hey, what should we do next? I know it's not very scientific, but it seems to be working so far.
Yeah, no, and I think if you're in a position to do that, by all means.
Well, having the Kobuk, I mean, just it is an institution. I mean, there is no doubt that plays a huge factor. And being right on the corner of 5th and E, we always joke, because we don't get, there'll be 1,000 people on 4th Avenue, and 25 will make it up to us. But that's okay, that's okay. We don't get the foot traffic that 4th does. But I think word of mouth, we have a lot of folks who refer people, or they come and they say, anytime I have a guest coming to town, we always come to Kobuk. And so it's lovely.
What's your plug? Where can people find your business? Where are you located? What are your hours?
We are on the corner of 5th and E on Town Square Park, and we're currently open Tuesdays through Saturdays, 11 to 6, until that first ship comes in. Then we're 7 days a week.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Nina.
My pleasure.
And when we discovered that Kobuk had donuts downtown, we were like, there are donuts downtown. Stop the presses. Like, we have to. It was a big
walking distance.
A big thing. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.